Hey guys, I'm Comire, and if I had to name the most fundamental element behind the Pokemon games, well, I'd say it's the teamwork. It's laced throughout the whole thing. You have to build up your team, you team up with story characters, even the Pokemon Company themselves have had some pretty interesting tag teams.
Hey, Mr. Teamwork, are you gonna bring me in anytime soon?
Oh yeah, that's right. You see, it didn't feel quite right to talk about collaborations without bringing in a buddy of mine. So Josh, would you do the honours?
Hey guys, I'm Josh from Concrete Donkey. Welcome to Start and Select. Today we'll be looking at the top 5 Pokemon collaborations across time and space.
First up, a fighting game as swift as a coursing river, with all the force of a great typhoon, with all the strength of a raging fire, mysterious as the dark side of the moon. Plus you can get owned by a Magikarp. Pokken Tournament is an arcade fighter that combines the characters of Pokemon with the why the hell is this kickboxing chicken man having a fight against a dinosaur-ness of Tekken. You see, it's a fighting game with a twist. Your typical match will constantly shift between two different states called the field phase and the duel phase, which will change your attacks and spacing. So, not only does this make for a perpetually interesting fight, but it also works as a great analogy for any man having a conversation with any woman, which is never quite knowing where you stand until a firm slap brings you crashing to reality. Like every item on this list, Pokken Tournament is quite a departure from the main series' core gameplay. It's less about capturing, growing with and collecting Pokemon, but more trying to activate a card capture's transformation sequence while trying to avoid being crushed into the center of the planet by emo Mewtwo.
Here we have a global phenomenon which literally changed the face of the Earth in summer 2016. People from across the globe was playing it, and I'm not over-exaggerating. People were literally in droves looking for Nidorangs in garden centres. The mobile game wasn't really about joining factions or capturing gyms. No, it was about bringing the franchise to a whole new generation, the smartphone generation, and it did this really, really well. And now I play it with people and I have fun and it's a social thing and I go out and exercise, kinda, and I get rewarded. It gives me so many incentives just to walk to random places. I often come home from work and go, oh, well, there is a need around just over there and I could really do with some candy, and I end up in a graveyard somewhere. But, you know, there used to be a day where everyone had a Game Boy and was playing Pokemon and it was great fun, and now Pokemon Go showed up and it's like, hey, we can all do that again for free. And you know, if you want to go exploring, you can either take a gap year, which is like expensive, or download a free app. I'll let you decide which one's the better option there.
The Pokemon Mystery Dungeon series is by far the most successful spin-off, having an impressive 10 games across 3 handheld generations, including 3 Japanese-only WiiWare titles. The Mystery Dungeon system was developed by Chunsoft, now Spike Chunsoft, for the 1993 Dragon Quest spin-off, Toneka no Daboken Fushigi no Dungeon. This was back before the term procedurally generated roguelike was fancy developer lingo for we have no idea how this thing is doing this anymore, and even if it could talk, we probably still wouldn't understand. In the beginning, a Pokemon Mystery Dungeon game would start by giving you a short personality test to decide which Pokemon you would be for the rest of the game. An entertainment form that BuzzFeed would later replicate for everything that ever existed, ever. You'd spend the game living your life as a Pokemon, playing and interacting, helping each other and supporting local businesses. And, of course, savagely attacking each other in vicious ritualistic combat. The dungeon system works in a combination of hallways and rooms, with everyone in the currently occupied active space getting a turn. Occasionally your team may get separated, leading to little cutscenes of team members wandering around, finding shops, and getting into scuffles. This element reminded me a bit of Dungeons & Dragons, where the inhabitants of the world get their moment to move and breathe and act outside of the player's direct influence. And it also reminded me in Dungeons & Dragons when my mum gives me a weird look when I tell her I'm a level 40 spellcaster called Alakazam.
Pokemon Snap was made by HAL Laboratory back in the day. Obviously they're the guys who made Kirby and Super Smash Bros. according to Iwata, this game was just going to be a game about taking photos of stuff, which is kind of a bit lacking purpose, so I'm kind of happy that they decided to throw the whole Pokemon franchise into the mix. And you know what? This game is really interesting, just because there's no other Pokemon game like it. Heck, I don't think there's any game like Pokemon Snap, and that's why it stands out. For the first time I got to explore the world of Pokemon, like from a first-person perspective, and see Pokemon just living their lives. Like for instance, let's say when you see a legendary Pokemon in, the Pokemon handheld games, it just stands out. Like Moltres is just like, yeah, I'm hanging out, flapping my wings. That's all he does. But in Pokemon Snap, I hatch the Moltres, I push it into like fire, and it bursts out and flies away. And it's just really good fun seeing like these almost like mini dioramas, like these mini action sequences happening just while you're going about the level. I remember this bit where there's these two Magmars fighting, and you can actually like pick a Magmar to help win the fight. So you can like, I really like Magmar on the left or whatever, and you can start chucking apples and stuff on the other one, and then he like falls over, and the other Magmar gets really happy, and it's just like those type of moments. It's like, you kind of have that freedom of choice, which is really odd for an on-rails game. Did I mention it's on rails? It is on rails, which is really weird. I don't know, Pokemon Snap is always going to have a special place in my heart. It's fun, it's interesting, and why have they not made a sequel? Give me Pokemon Snap, please. Please. So, Comire, what's the last Pokemon collaboration you're going to be talking about, apart from our awesome collab that is?
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah. But just before that, I just wanted to mention a couple things. Your Honor.
Your Honor? What are you talking about? You can do a list within a list.
At the time of writing, the Detective Pikachu film is a year away from coming to cinemas, but I'm not gonna let something as inconsequential as it not technically existing yet get in the way of honouring one of the quirkiest Pokemon characters since Ash's Haunter. The video game was well liked for its humour and performances, but then imagine if you heard Ryan Reynolds, aka everyone's favourite fourth wall breaker Deadpool, was the voice of Pikachu. Well, you'd contrive a whole YouTube video just to shoehorn in a shout out too. Splatfests are competitions within Splatoon where all its players join either one of two teams and try to win more matches than the other in a limited time period. Over the years, they've pit some interesting forces against each other, like SpongeBob SquarePants or Patrick Star, what you order at McDonald's, and even which way you prefer your toilet roll. In early 2016, the original Pokemon games were pit against each other, with Pokemon Blue and Green coming out on top. I mean, a game about ridiculous water guns, and the fire one lost? Nah. In mid-2016, a wild partnership appeared between Pokemon and Insert Coin Clothing, selling stylish Pokemon-inspired clothing in a pop-up store in London before launching the products online. If you ever wanted to grab the original Pokemon games, dress up like Team Rocket, and party with Pikachu, this was the place to do it. A couple months later, another collaboration between Pokemon and Hype clothing brand came about, but if you're hoping they name that partnership Dragon Hype, I've got some bad news for you. So while neither made by nor officially supported by Nintendo, both Pokemon Showdown and Twitch Plays Pokemon have done great services within the Pokemon community. The first one being a tool to meticulously test the competitive value of a team, and the second being a tool to find out how many times you can click a rock before you accidentally start a religion. If you ever needed to find a symbol for order and chaos in the Pokemon community, look no further. The 5th generation Pokemon games feature more than a few allusions to the United States. Ruffler and Bravery were so unwaveringly American, their Pokemon cries the Star-Spangled Banner. The Timber line resemble construction workers. Watchog looks like a road worker in a high-vis jacket. Trubbish and Garbodor reference inner-city waste issues. Chinchino was modelled after the Sex and the City cast. Verizon was based on a telecommunications company. I think. Univers itself was based on New York City, complete with its own Brooklyn Bridge and financial district. It's also marked the first time a Pokemon region was based on a location outside Japan. Later, Kalos would be inspired by France, and Alola on Hawaii. Alola being home to a Pokemon with one of the worst Twitter histories you've ever seen. Trust me. The Pokemon anime has had some great songs. I'm not ashamed to admit that there have been several times I've been up in my bedroom about to battle the Elite Four and I've whacked on a power playlist of Born to Be a Winner, I Believe, and I Wanna Be a Hero. My 3 favourite themes from one Mr. David Rolfe. God bless you, sir. It turns out you're so close to releasing the perfect EP. If only you released a song that sounded like Ham from Toy Story, join the Sugar Hill Gang. The Polka Rap was a selection of 5 songs where every weekday one of them would close out the end of an episode of Pokemon. The song listed every single one of the first 150 Pokemon in a fashion only slightly more hardcore than Christian rock. But it was a great tool in cementing the names of 150 cartoon monsters in the minds of a generation of school kids. To this day, I've forgotten films I've watched, close family members I've hugged, and whole African nations. But I still remember Spearow rhymes with slow bro. The Polka Rap is one of the greatest pieces of writing in modern history. Sure, the Declaration of Independence liberated a nation. Okay, the Great Gatsby examined the folly ideals of the American dream. I know, the Dark Knight allegorized humanity's need for a god figure in the face of a flawed moral compass. But did any of those rhyme Dugong with Rhydon? I don't think so. So, those are my top 5 Pokemon collaborations. I mean, making something super cool that it always takes a lot of work, but it helps just that little bit when you've got someone helping you out. Am I right, Josh?
Yeah, you don't need to tell me about hard work, man. I completely understand where you're coming from. I'm trying to do the living dex at the moment with the Kanto region, and boy, that's tough. That's a tough time. If you didn't know, a living dex is when you have to capture every single Pokemon, including the mid-evolutions. So yeah, hard work, but it should be worth it. It's good fun.
Oh really? Well, I mean, you helped me here. Well, I could come over to your channel and give out a couple tips.
Ah, brilliant. It's almost like this is some kind of YouTube collaboration where I do a video on your channel, you come over to mine and do one. Anyways, you should come on over to Concrete Donkey. We're going to talk about Kanto region and living dexes. It's going to be great. Assuming you don't sing more Pokemon songs than it's Comire.
Alright, I'll try not to. But speaking of which, this time in Comire's content, we're featuring a song that you need to listen to. It's called Pokécito from the Papushi. It's a song parody of Despacito, only with 100% more Pokemon, 200% more reggaeton flair, and 1000% more wondering what a Polka Rap featuring Daddy Yankee would sound like. Check it out in the references link below. And also check out Concrete Donkey's channel to see our tips on how to make your living dex. All of Concrete Donkey's videos are so fun, they're filled with so much passion. Give it a like, give it a view, drop a sub for both of us, hit that bell icon, and sit back and enjoy some great gaming shows. But for now, I want to know what your favourite Pokemon collab is. I want you to tell me in the comments below or drop me a tweet because I'm pretty sure I've forgotten at least one. And, as always, I've been Comire, this has been Stardom Select, thank you, and good night. And a car that could only turn left. Don't ask. In 1971, they re-released several of their previously made games and more in the mini-game series. Because Nintendo, selling nostalgia back to people, well, that's something they would never do.